sounds like I would be able to write it. Mr. Crothers says here, a few things you need to know to tell if a Nobel laureate is talking nonsense. It's the title of the paper. The abstracts, it's written here forward. People so often place their trust in the word of an authority that they don't carefully think about what they have been told. Consequently, that when upon a little reflection is recognized as utter fantasy, is passively accepted as true on the word of an authority. Perhaps physics is the most pitiful example of the word of dogmatic authority carrying sway over rational thought. Presented here are a few simple examples of the nonsensical claims made by physicists that reveal just how decrepit they and their science has become, and by which, hopefully, remedy is secured for the pensive reader. Now, a lot of Mr. Crothers' work goes over, black holes being nonsense, Big Bang, obviously that's nonsense. But our problems that face us today are much deeper than that. Especially in regards to the ideas passively accepted without question. It isn't just Big Bang and black holes that are nonsense, but known physical nonsense is still accepted, such as the protoplanetary disk model, where they have disks becoming spheres, absent a mechanism for angular momentum loss. That in itself contradicts it and means the protoplanetary disk just doesn't work. It's a fantasy. It's wishful thinking. The spherical objects in the sky, which we call stars, shrink, cool, and combine the elements into molecules, becoming what are called planets. There are many hundreds of billions of them. No disks are required. Another basic idea that is completely ignored is the fact that stars are comprised of electrically charged matter when they're young, and they are comprised of a whole bunch of chemicals, meaning stars are electrochemical in nature. Yet, when you read literature on stars, their evolution or their structure or anything about them, nothing at all is mentioned of electrochemical reactions. It's almost as if they don't even care for science itself. But, that's for the future. I've also been working on a very large, it's over 5,000 words now, should I say, quasi book. I don't even know how I'm going to organize this. But basically, I try to find all the assumptions that exist in establishment which need to be corrected. Because black holes and Big Bang, those are just the celebrity bull crap. I have to go over a lot of basic other things too, like quasars not being at their redshift distance, the assumption that Earth was always solid and liquid material throughout its evolution, ignoring the other phases of matter such as gaseous and plasmatic matter. Chemistry not being important to stars, the rock cycle in geology, ignoring gaseous matter as it deposits a solid structure. We know that happens because of snow. That's what gas deposition is. I mean, all the assumptions. Here's a big assumption that nobody ever questions. All the objects in the solar system are the same age. Did you know that? No, they're not the same age. They're all different in age. They're all in their own lines of evolution. And here's another big one. The objects in the solar system are not independent of the sun. They are independent of the sun. They don't even... They orbit the sun many millions of miles away from it. They're independent structures. The sun has its own evolutionary path, and those objects have their own evolutionary path. But these assumptions all occurred because, they're in the same orbit as the other ones. They orbit the same host star. No, they didn't always orbit the same star. That's another assumption, but, all this stuff has to be corrected. So, how we correct it? We question authority. We raise the bullshit flag. If these authority figures and celebrity figures want to continue making stuff up, I think it is our responsibility to continue calling them out on it. It needs to happen sooner or later. It's going to happen. And that's basically one of my goals, and that's why I also support Stephen Carruthers, is the fact that he calls them out as well as I. We both are calling them out on their bullshit. And I think that is essentially what we need to do as scientists, as philosophers, and as clear-minded, rational human beings. Today is July 19th, 2015.